Okay, hello everyone, and for another video in our sort of skills thing for the model building. So for this one, we're going to be doing sanding. Now, when it comes to sanding, what we're really exploring here is sanding as a technique for creating different types of shapes. It's not specifically sanding to, make something smooth. Rather, it's to make sure that something has a specific structure. So what we have here is like the piece of wood that we're going to use, and for this piece I already have a nice angle marked down, and I've already started sanding it a little bit, to cut a little bit at a time. But really what you want to do is make sure that you have a sort of angle mark. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to combine this with another piece of wood to create a sort of, I'd say around a 45-degree angle, maybe a little less or more. So we have a file, which is what we're going to be using. This is a standard wooden file. I prefer using a file to sandpaper. The file just makes sure that you have more control, and normally this is a flatter surface that obviously doesn't move or doesn't warp. Next you have of course a clamp. You're always going to use a clamp or a vise, and obviously that's to keep it still, making sure it doesn't move, because if it moves then you kind of you really ruin it. So what we're going to start off with is obviously by clamping it or pressing it down to the table, making sure it doesn't move. Now for this you normally want to have it around the middle, and you want to make sure, like I said before, that you're minimizing all the movement of the piece and making sure that it does not move or do anything. So that's about as tight as I can get it. That's not going to move. I'm going to adjust it slightly. Okay, now what you want to do is with the vise, you want to make sure that it's around perpendicular to the side you're cutting. So if it's perpendicular, it means that it'll be completely straight and you won't have any warps. So you want to just begin sanding. Like I said, you want to make sure that you have contact with all the wood. Now this is normally a lengthy process. Okay, so once you see that it is around at the line in which you drew, you can remove it. Now this is I'm just gonna remove it a little bit. There you go. Okay, so here it is. And as you can see from it, it's around that 45-degree angle that we wanted. And if you combine this with another piece and you glue it, you get that angle. So perfect. And the real key here is that it is as straight as possible. So this is relatively straight. And as always, you can make adjustments later, making sure that it's completely flat. You don't want any roundness. One of the biggest mistakes people do is while they're sanding, they sometimes move the file down like that. And what that means is that the sides start rounding off, and that's not good for gluing. So that's around what you want. And with this, you can obviously make way more angles and start gluing them together. And doing that, you can get completely different shapes that are outside of the normal sort of rectangular ones that you have. So that's about it. Thank you very much, and next time.